Since opening in 1825, the Erie Canal has been a major landmark of New York State, acting as a source of recreation for several communities. However, significant developments are underway that may impact the future of the canal. Buffalo loves to show off its art and creativity, and these murals showcased here on Hurdle Avenue are just a taste of the local art scene here in the city. On September 26, NASA launched the DART satellite in an attempt to see if we could alter the path of an asteroid, and less than a month later, the team at NASA announced their groundbreaking mission was a success. With gas prices remaining high, it's important to think ahead and budget for travel during the holidays. Menstrual products like pads and tampons are an essential item for a significant portion of the population, and yet, rising costs, shortages, and limited availability in public restrooms treat these items like a privilege rather than a necessity.
Inaccessibility to menstrual products, or what's known as period poverty, is a widespread issue that affects millions of Americans in their everyday lives. Elise Davis is just one of many who have had to deal with the lack of assured access to these items.
It's very important for menstrual products to be easily accessible to everyone, especially in public places like school buildings, because not every person who menstruates can always afford what they need because they can't afford pads and especially not tampons. Tampons are much more expensive.
Speaking of the cost, if you were to visit a few different stores or pharmacies, you'll notice the striking price differences. For example, these two stores had the same product from the same brand with a $5 price difference. Davis explains how this is part of a greater obstacle for menstrual equity.
If people who menstruate are only able to walk or ride a bike or get a bus to a certain location and they're selling products for dollars more expensive, then they're not going to be able to afford that always.
According to a YouGov poll, around 40% of women have had to miss work or school because they didn't have access to period products. Shortages in the U.S. have magnified this issue in the past few months, as most stores will only have a few items on their shelves. Fortunately, some programs, like those available to Buffalo State College students, have offered better access to period products. Assistant Director of Prevention and Health Promotion at Weigel Health Center, Paula Madrigal, wants to ensure no student has to go without what they need to be prepared and comfortable.
If a student ever needs any supplies, they can always come to the health center, and we're open all year round. But also, any issue that a student is having, they're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I'm happy to help find a solution.
Aside from the help offered by the Weigel Health Center, Madrigal also mentioned another available resource for Buffalo State students, Milligan's Food Pantry.
Milligan's is the food pantry on campus. And so you just have to submit an application and you can select items that you need. And they do sometimes carry different items as needed, such as like laundry detergent and feminine products.
While these are great options to have, the wider issue of period poverty still persists. For Madrigal, the best course of action involves going against the stigma of talking about periods and actively spreading awareness to as many social spheres as possible.
We need to advocate in spaces. We need to find those allies who have those privileges.
Nobody chooses their biology. People can't control when menstruation happens. And I think it's a bit unfair to sell people a product that they would need and that they can't control their need for it.
If you'd like to learn more about product shortages or available resources, check out our website at broadcastingbuffalo.com. In Amherst, I'm Andrew McClare. The holiday season is here, and that means shopping sprees and deals are too. But how does this intense spending affect those who work customer service this time of year? From Black Friday to the end of the year, the holiday shopping season breaks sales records on a regular basis. The National Retail Federation reported 196 million consumers went shopping between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. However, it seems that profits may be blinding corporations to the well-being of their employees.
Yeah, I can't go to Christmas.
Elijah Smith is struggling to find time in his work schedule for family this season. Like many employees during the holidays, his shifts are longer and he's scheduled more often because of the annual shopping rush.
That job made me realize I don't ever want to work in retail during Christmas. I never want to get another retail seasonal job again. I've never had hours so long in a job.
Aside from the long hours, workers also have to handle hostile customers with high expectations. It's all too common for stress to get the better of holiday shoppers and for employees to be caught in the crossfire. When an angry customer started yelling at them, M. Glazer was hoping their manager would step in to help.
One of the managers was there, but just kind of looked at me. She expected me to deal with this by myself. And that was one of the hardest parts because, like, I'm just a minimum wage employee trying to de-escalate this whole situation and wasn't really offered any assistance.
Smith shares that he's seen how little it can take for a customer to set off on a tirade of insults.
Just crazy sometimes. Like, I've seen people flip out because a coupon doesn't work. or they didn't have a certain item. And you see that, like, you see like jokes like that on TikTok, but it's really weird to see it in real life when people get legitimately mad at you.
Because of how frequently this happens, Glazer has been thinking about ways to help protect themselves and fellow workers from hostile situations with shoppers.
One of the things I even thought of is if we had a code word for like a customer who was being really unkind, like we could say that code word and the manager would come over and like that way the customer doesn't feel called out either, but something on the low like that just to be able to have that support system in place.
It wouldn't solve every problem workers face this time of year, but simple implementations like this would go a long way to de-escalate confrontations and protect employees from verbal or sometimes physical harm. For many employees, having to work the stressful holiday rush takes away from the jolly spirit of the season.
The holiday season really gets you sick of people. It's very tiring sometimes, and I just feel like during that season, people are just tense and argumentative.
When you're out shopping this holiday season, think about the impact you leave on the workers you meet. After all, St. Nick will be checking his list and checking it twice. For Broadcasting Buffalo, I'm Andrew McClare. In the wake of overcrowding and an increase of stray pets, some animal shelters have had to resort to euthanizing many of the pets in their care. However, volunteer organizations are working to ensure that these animals have a better chance at a full life. East Coast Paws is one of several organizations across the country that relies on volunteers to complete their mission.
Somebody has to do it. I have the means, the ability, and sometimes these dogs, if it wasn't for us, they'd die in the streets.
The head coordinator of East Coast Paws, Roseanne Geller-White, says she's extremely grateful for everyone that offers help.
We have the most amazing group of people. All of us have the same heart. All we want to do is save as many as we can.
As a volunteer operation, their biggest obstacle is the lack of resources available to support each pet on their journey.
The funding comes out of our pockets. It really does. Whether we're driving, buying crates, buying leashes, extra collars, all that we just pay for.
And I think most people that we work with or volunteer, I should say, are very generous. I mean, there are boxes of things that they will share with other drivers or overnighters. And I've learned so many like tips and tricks that I never would have known.
The group is always looking for new volunteers to help transport pets or foster them overnight, and many have said the experience has changed their life.
The fact that I can help get them someplace to have a better life means a lot. It means a whole lot.
If you're interested in volunteering or learning about other ways you can help the animals in need, check out our website at broadcastingbuffalo.com. In Williamsville, I'm Andrew McClare.